All right, you ready to fire up the time machine? Because today, we're taking a trip right into the English past. We're going to master one of the most important ideas out there, how to talk about things that are already done. So buckle up, let's do this.
Okay, first things first, look at this sentence. I didn't ill. Does that sound right to you? Probably not. And you know what? This is an incredibly common mistake, especially when we're thinking in one language and speaking in another. But hey, no worries at all. By the time we're done here, you're going to see exactly why this is wrong, and more importantly, how to get it right every single time.
And there it is. The right way to say it is, I wasn't ill. Did you see that? All we did was swap out didn't and put in wasn't. So what's going on here? What's the big secret? Why on earth did we make that change?
Well, the secret, it all comes down to this one simple, powerful question. You just have to ask yourself, are we talking about an action or are we talking about a state? That's it. Once you get the hang of answering that one question, you've basically unlocked the entire English past tense. It's a game changer.
All right, let's jump into our first section here, the past's photograph. And yeah, that's exactly what I want you to imagine. We're not just learning grammar, we're learning how to take a picture, a snapshot of a moment that's already happened. So here's the deal. Think of the words was and were as your camera. They're what you use to take that still picture. They don't show you doing anything, like running or jumping or eating. Nope, they just capture a state of being. Like if you say, I was tired, boom, that's a photograph of how you felt. Or they were at home, click, that's a photograph of where they were. See? No action. Just a perfect frozen snapshot of the past. So how do we actually travel back in time? Well, it's all about shifting gears in our time machine. And trust me, it's super simple. Right now, in the present, you use words like am or is, right? Well, to go to the past, you just shift that gear and it becomes was. What about are? Same thing. Just shift the gear back and it becomes were. That's literally all there is to it. Okay, quick question. Who gets what? It's easy. Think of it like two teams. On team was, you've got I, he, she, and it. For example, he was a teacher. Then on team were, you've got you, we, and they. Like they were friends. Simple as that, right? Okay, everyone, listen up, because this slide, this is the whole thing right here. On one side, you've got was and were. That's your photo. It captures a state, a still image. On the other side, you've got did. That's your video. It captures an action, something happening. Photo versus video, state versus action. Getting this difference, it changes everything. All right, now let's really put this to the test. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the main event, the action versus state battle. In this corner, we have the master of investigation, Detective was-were, an expert on all things state-related, and in the other corner, the commander of movement, Captain Did, who's all about action. And here we go. Detective was-were steps into the ring with the first piece of evidence. I was tired. Let's analyze this. Tired. Is that an action? Can you actively do being tired? Nah, of course not. It's a feeling, a state of being. It's a photo. And just like that, the first point goes to Detective was-were. But hold on, Captain DID isn't taking that lying down. He comes back with a powerful counter. I didn't go. Now what about go? Is that an action? You bet it is. It's all about movement. This is a video clip, folks, and Captain DID uses his signature move, didn't, perfectly. The score is tied. And the detective is right back at it, presenting another clue to the judges. They were happy. Okay, team, let's break it down. Happy. Can you do happy? No way. It's an emotion, a state. It is a still picture of a great feeling. And that's another point on the board for Detective was/were. Okay, so let's go all the way back to the crime scene, to that first sentence, I didn't ill. Now we know what to ask. Is being ill an action you do or a state you are in? It's a state, right? So this is clearly a job for Detective was-were, not Captain Did, which means the correct sentence is, I wasn't ill. And with that, case closed. Okay, so we've figured out when to use was and were, but what about making negative sentences or asking questions? Well, I've got some great news for you. The system for this is unbelievably simple, and the best part, it never ever changes. Check this out. It's just a simple 3-step pattern. Let's start with the positive. She was at school. Easy. Now, to make it negative, what do? You just add not, so it becomes she wasn't at school. And to ask a question, just take that was and move it right to the front. Was she at school? That's it. Positive, negative, question. It's the same exact pattern every single time. Okay, you've learned the rules, you've watched the epic battle, now it's your turn. I'm handing you the keys to the time machine. Let's do this. It is practice time. All right, first one up on the screen. When I blank a child, I blank very shy. So what do you think? What goes in those blanks? Quick hint, think about it. Being a child and being shy, are those actions or are they states? Okay, and what about this one? Where blank you last night? Here we're asking about your location, which is definitely a state. So which word do you use with you? Go ahead and take a second to work through the next few. All right, pencils down. You ready for the answers? Let's do a quick reveal. Number 1 is was. Number 2, were. 3 is weren't, were. 4 is was. Number 5 is were. And number 6 is wasn't. So how'd you do? Even if you got a couple wrong, no big deal. We're all learning. But if you nailed it, awesome job. You are well on your way. And now it's time for the final boss, the Master Challenge. This is where it all comes together. This is where we see if you've truly mastered this concept. I need you to translate 2 sentences for me, but you have to pay really close attention to what they mean. Here's the first one. Dün çok yorgundum. The big clue here is the word tired. So ask yourself that magic question. Is being tired an action or is it a state? Your answer to that tells you everything you need to know. And now for sentence number 2. Dün çok çalıştım. The hint this time is the word work. So think about it. Is working a state you're in or an action you do? This one's a little different, isn't it? It's going to require a totally different tool from your toolbox. Okay, let's see the answers. For the first sentence, the state, the correct translation is, I was very tired yesterday. Why? Because being tired is a state. It's a photograph. And for the second one, the action, it's, I worked a lot yesterday. We use worked here because it's a clear action. It's a video. And that, right there, is the difference that matters most. That was amazing. Seriously, fantastic work. You have officially navigated the past. You know exactly how to use was and were to take those snapshots of past states. You've just locked in a huge piece of the English language puzzle. Well done. So if there's one thing you take away today, let it be this. Is it a state, a description, a photograph? Use was or were. Is it an action, a video? Then you're going to use did or a simple past verb. Got it? Awesome. Now, your next mission, if you're up for it, is to get back in that time machine with me because next we're going to the future to figure out the big battle between Will and Going To. I'll see you there.